It's too hot for this.
Always.
It's too hot for this, bro. We can't have the AC on.
No AC. Too much sound coming in.
Too much sound coming in. And it's 80 degrees outside.
We suffer
Or
for
80,
the content.
85 degrees outside.
No, humidity is my weakness, bro.
It's been 5 minutes.
Yes.
It's been 5 minutes, and it's like an oven. Oh my god, bro. We're good though.
Always,
We
yeah.
have water.
Wait, are we allowed to
It's not
promote this?
cold,
Are we allowed to promote purified water
Who
from
cares?
Wesley Farms? Wesley Farms? Branded promotion?
You just said it. The camera can't see that. And you're just like, yo, what is it? Wesley Farms? And then you just said the brand, bro. Anyways, shout out to Wesley Farms.
Yes, they're providing us our H2O, bro.
Oh my god. So, not much happening still. We haven't had a blockbuster come out, but we are getting trailers.
We're getting trailers, but we also had a National Cinema Day, which was like $4 tickets, and so we went and we got to see American Graffiti. So we got to see old movies. I got to see like Jurassic Park and then American Graffiti with you guys after.
Yeah, that was my second time watching the movie, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was dope for me, besides the fact that the fucking theater experience was awful. Because those kids,
Empire
man.
25, man. Empire 25, y'all suck. You guys suck. Your theater
rough.
smells like shit. It smells like piss every time I fucking step into the theater.
It's always a couple, like, potential crackheads roaming around.
Bro, it looks like an abandoned theater.
Yeah.
When you walk into some of these places, there's not even like in some floors the concession is not even running either. They have like 4 levels, and once you go past level 2, it's a shit show. Mm-hmm. And even on the first floor, we were on the first floor, and the seats are like half broken. The covers, like the fabric, is ripped apart.
And it was
wet.
It was also
It was
different.
wet.
It was also different because it was much more crowded on that day because everyone came for like $4 tickets, and so there was just a bunch of people in the theaters, and there were just like a couple of like crazy like young kids just like running around and interrupting like the movie in the middle of it to like scream out some random stuff, bro. So it was a bizarre theater experience, but the movie was good. The movie is fire. George Lucas.
The movie is good, but like the first 20 minutes, I wanted to slap some people.
Yeah, because I absolutely understand that, bro. They kept on talking.
I don't want to get into it.
They kept on talking. They kept on yelling, bro. They kept on arguing with other people in the theater. But no, the movie was great, and I do like when theaters are cheaper and more people can come and stuff like that.
Yeah, but fuck those kids, bro.
Those kids are
Fuck
terrible.
those kids, man.
And yeah, it didn't help that it was at Empire 25, bro.
Yeah, bro. Holy shit. I'm not looking forward to the next. I mean, I'm looking forward to like people going to the cinemas. Like I love seeing people at the cinema. It's always a good thing, and I'm definitely looking forward to the ticket prices. But for us, when it's AMC, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like we have A-list. If anybody has A-list out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's better. I'd rather go see a movie at IFC or the Paris Theater,
Of course.
or Film Forum. You
Yes.
know, I think that's what it's called.
Film
The Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
Which is far.
That one is
one's
far,
very far.
and the food can be expensive, but the food is nice.
When is the food not expensive at a movie theater?
It's always that's how they make their money, through the concessions.
But anyways, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the Gran Turismo box office recap because it won the box office that last weekend on
You called it.
on
You
the
said
day.
that it would help.
Yeah, it helped a bit, but I mean, it's still a weird. I don't know the math fully on it, but it's still weird in terms of the numbers because the tickets are $4, but then again it brings more people to the theater, and then again there was also buzz for on TikTok and stuff like that. I'm all I'm seeing is edits of the movie, and then like when you look through the comment section, people are giving it like a 10 out of 10 and stuff. So like the general audience is loving it. The general audience is loving it.
No, because when you have a genuine like buzz, that can naturally boost a movie up. Like when there's people talking about it, when it's people, word of mouth is a mad like underrated way of promoting movies.
There's not enough movies like Gran Turismo anymore, man. Like when do you see so much care put into a brand like that?
Right. Right.
Like when have we seen a Sony movie that has had so much attention and money put into it? And it's actually good.
Well, we were
Like,
we were joking about this, but before, the way that Sony always promoted their stuff was like they would slap it on a laptop and have people like using their phones with like the Sony IP just branded on it. But now they're learning how to incorporate it in a more natural way.
I mean, it was definitely a criticism. I mean, I didn't care because it's a Sony movie. It's also the game is a PlayStation exclusive, so there's gonna be Sony branding in the movie. But people were like, "Oh, it was a PlayStation Sony advertisement for the first 30 minutes of the movie." I'm like, what else was it gonna be? Mm-hmm. It's literally based on a product that they made.
That was the reason why the movie probably got greenlit, was so that we can promote, our brand, promote our interests, and so that's honestly the way it's gotta
that movie worked out well, man. That was a very, like, I don't think it was a calculated decision, but if it was, it would make sense. Because everything, the way they go about the video game adaptation aspect of it, and it's a real life story, and then like I said, the brand, all the brand.
Well, there's always like this like sort of 2-tier way that like movies are greenlit, and it's always interesting to think about, where you have like people thinking about it more like on like the artistic side, where they're trying to think about like promoting themselves, getting their voice out there, how they want to make a movie, and then you have like the more like commercial interest, where it's like, all right, we have a certain set of bullet points, and we got to hit these bullet points because this is why I want to make this movie, why I want to make this money in this way, And so I feel like Gran Turismo is like one of those ones where it hit that spot, and we'll see, like you said, long term how much money it will make with all like the National Cinema Day stuff, and how that like the word of mouth factors into the box office. But like it's looking good so far, like you said. Like,
I mean, it's also hit that niche with car people,
right.
People who love cars, people who love racing. Like, I remember seeing I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast too, but it's funny because they had you've seen those memes where like somebody will go to a theater and like, oh, what movie are you trying to see? And everybody's dressed up as like Spider-Man, And so they did that for Gran Turismo, and then the camera turns and it's everyone in like a racing outfit, and like their helmets on and stuff. So I was like, yo, this is awesome that people are gathering for this movie.
Well, you mentioned also that it was like people were also playing on like the Barbenheimer thing, where you'd have like some people like dressed in like the pink, and some people dressed in the black for Barbie, and then Oppenheimer, and then people came in with like their sports race car outfits to go see Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I remember the guy that took a picture of us because we were all wearing suits.
Yeah.
And he had the Barbenheimer shirt.
No, dude,
I didn't know so many people were gonna pull up to the theater with that shirt, because it went viral. I remember on the
internet. That shirt was great.
That big.
No, it was huge, and so when people saw us with the suits and they had the Barbenheimer shirts, it was just like perfect photo opportunity, and a lot of people couldn't resist. And even when we were like in front of like the Barbie poster and like the Oppenheimer posters, people were still like saying like, "Yo, good stuff."
You know what's one thing I'm starting to think though? Like, one thing I realized is that people who, I feel like the Barbenheimer fans and like the people who made that a thing, were definitely bigger fans of Oppenheimer, because when we went to see Barbie, there was 0 to no one with a Barbenheimer shirt.
There
was 0 to no one with a Barbenheimer shirt.
There were more people there just to see Barbie.
When we went to see Oppenheimer, every other dude had a Barbenheimer shirt.
Right.
Like, true. It was insane. That was insane. That was such a culture event, man.
No, dude, that's why like I'll always appreciate like it, because I was like, oh man, this is something that will rarely happen, where a double feature gets promoted to this level, and finally, like now, like everyone else that I know, like the people that are not into film as much, they're catching up on it. Like some of my friends who don't watch movies sort of like we do, they went to the theaters for Barbenheimer, and because that, they were also able to see what other movies they want to catch coming up, Gran Turismo and other stuff, because they're like, oh, when you're back in the theaters, it makes it much more easier to actually look forward to future movies and stuff.
Yeah. Interesting thing to connect this back to also Gran Turismo and its box office was like a really weird thing happened, where I think it was Warner Bros. That said it, or the people, it was someone involved in Barbie who came out and talked about the box office and was like, oh, the only reason it beat us that weekend was because of the preview screenings. But when you look at I think it was like Box Office Mojo or something like that, when you look at the math and like the weekend numbers, they didn't include that. Like, because remember, we went to a preview screening, which was like 2.5 weeks before the actual movie came out. And they made $3.9 million in those, like, I think it had to be like 7 days of previews, something like that, something like 7 to 10 days of previews, because they did an Investor Connect screening. Then they did the PlayStation Plus screening. Then they did the early access one for Dolby. Then on the weekends, they were having like 3-day screenings, so like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it was only one screening a day.
So they didn't factor in the budget to those preview screenings?
They didn't factor it in the numbers. No, it made $17.4 million on its opening weekend.
Right.
Like that was the number. But then I think someone who it had to be Warner Brothers or something. They're hating ass motherfuckers, you know. So they probably came out and were like, oh, like they didn't really beat us because they had previews. No, they beat you. They beat you. The numbers are there. It's 17.4 million.
I mean, it's sort of a weird thing with Warner Bros. Too, because like they gotta be like happy right now because you know Barbie has made like the most money so far like in their history.
Nothing is enough.
Yeah, nothing. Usually that's
You know?
and that factors into like the whole problem with like everything with the strikes and stuff. But legit, they just got their highest grossing movie. Like it made more money than Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which used to be like their highest grossing movie. And now Barbie is up there, and you know they're still finding reasons to be upset at other movies for you know making money with them, you know.
Yeah. Oppenheimer's reaching $1 billion.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. I heard that could be a thing. And dude, that's huge for Nolan.
That's gonna
know?
be, I think, Nolan's first billion or
No,
it had to be
the Batman movies that he made. Some of them.
I don't
close.
think. Let me see. Nolan.
Check Dark Knight Rises because that one I believe made a lot of money for him.
I think specifically that one only touched like 900 million. Because it was also like 3 hours, and at that time, I don't think that was as popularized to go see like that runtime.
I see. Let me see. I mean, it says that it reached $1.08 billion in its gross revenue.
Okay, so I was wrong.
So they
So
definitely
he did reach $1 billion.
he reached $1
Well,
billion.
that makes sense.
It's a huge
Dark
IP,
Knight, yeah.
and the
If
Dark
Oppenheimer
Knight,
beats that though, that's like
I don't know if
that's
it will.
crazy.
It'll be very difficult for it to get there, but it's been propelled
I mean,
by
it's
this
not
huge
like it's
thing.
going up just in like small numbers. It's went up a lot since the previous week. It went up like 150 million in like the last 2 weeks.
Wow. No, I mean, dude, it's definitely hits a chord because like it's such a prescient like thing with not only obviously with like the Barbenheimer
the
memes
Dark
and
Knight
stuff,
also.
but also like Oppenheimer itself like hits at like a lot of real sort of insecurities and sort of nerve-wracking feelings of like today in terms of
I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I feel like it is getting a bit overhyped. That
yeah,
movie.
you
And
didn't
it's-
like it. I really
No,
enjoyed
don't,
it. I really
don't say you didn't like it so much.
You didn't
I
like it
like
so
the
much?
movie,
It's
but it's
overhyped.
not like it's not movie of the year. It's
for
not
me,
movie
for
of the
me,
year
it's
for me.
it's up there. For me, obviously, there's some movies that I still might prefer. Maybe like I would watch a John Wick Chapter 4 before I would like rewatch an Oppenheimer or something like that. But Oppenheimer is pretty like I feel like I can say it's an important movie for like this year and like this time period in like the 2020s. You know,
It's one of those movies where like, how can I explain it? Where like, yes, I valued the experience. I saw it in IMAX 70mm twice. I was very lucky to be able to. But as something like if I'm looking for something to watch, it's not what I'm gonna be looking.
I
for.
get you.
You know what I
get
mean?
you.
Like
that's fair.
it's still good, and I think the score by Ludwig Göransson is phenomenal as always. Chef's kiss. Like he just.
I've been listening to it in my like headphones, bro.
Are you kidding me? Like, bro.
Can you hear the music? Oh, you start rising, bro. You start levitating with that shit. Dude. Like the score is great, but man, like even just like the filmmaking and sort of like the way that he intercuts like with the montage and stuff. I feel like he knocked that movie out.
I think
of the
the
park.
first act is messy though.
The first act, yeah, I can understand that.
It's
even
really choppy, and the dialogue is pretty like. It's pretty bad in certain moments. Like I hated like a lot of the dialogue.
Like,
'Cause
which
it's very,
moments?
They don't. There's like no nuance or subtlety to what they're saying. They just get right to the point when they're talking, and it doesn't feel like actual people talking.
Right.
You know, like the Matt Damon line where it's like, "This is the most important moment in history," and I'm just like, "Thank you, Nolan. Thank you, Nolan, for just hammering that point down. You did a good job."
It's a classic thing also with like sometimes with famous actors when they have to deliver like intense scenes like that, it could almost take you out of the movie. Because I remember seeing that in the Oppenheimer trailer, and I'm like, ooh.
But that's a trailer moment. That's a
Right,
trailer moment.
right.
But it's like, even that scene where he's like, bro, like, dog, he treated the suit up scene where like he gets like it was like Iron Man suiting up or some shit.
No, that
Like, the
was
music
amazing
guy-
though. That was amazing when he picks up and puts the hat on, bro.
Yeah,
just
but it's like,
that's
oh
so
my
funny,
God.
dude. You got no. That scene has to be in the movie.
It took
bro.
me out of the movie.
No, bro. That
took me
that,
out of the movie. Where
that
I was
scene, I was ready to
I
put
couldn't
on.
take it
I was
seriously.
ready. I was ready to put on my suit again. Like you know how we came with the suits. I was ready to put on my suit again while we were watching that scene, bro.
I
'Cause
couldn't take that seriously, bro.
That scene was amazing, bro. When he put on the hat, bro, and the pipe was over there. Fucking great, bro.
it's very well shot and it's beautiful, but it's like, It's so corny. It's so corny.
I mean, hey, bro. It like sometimes with these like sort of classic biopic movies, it has to be like some semblance of corniness. Like Gran Turismo, you could say that a lot of the scenes are corny, but it's good, you know.
But I feel like in terms of, I mean, I'd have to do a bit more research into this also, but in terms of Gran Turismo, it's also a lot more dangerous what they're shooting and stuff like that. In terms of like, if you're comparing biopic and like how can I say it? I'm trying to,
like the actual stunts involved and the actual
it's such a shitty the two movies like you shouldn't
to compare, right?
But like when you think of a movie like Gran Turismo, yeah, it like covers those basic like story beats of like a biopic, because it is technically a biopic about Jan Mardenborough.
Yeah, and there's like classic corny biopic moments, and you gotta like go
that
with the flow.
movie's job was totally different than what Oppenheimer was, and when you look at it through that perspective, what that movie was supposed to do, it accomplished it. You know, and yeah, Oppenheimer also did it, but if we had like
a scale,
you know what I mean? That's what I mean. You can't really. I bet you like so many people are like, yo, this fucking guy is comparing Oppenheimer to Gran Turismo. Are you fucking kidding me, dog? Delete your podcast, bro.
That's.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
I
ranked it over Oppenheimer. I ranked it over Oppenheimer.
On Letterboxd?
Yes.
Oh man. We got some hot takes, some good hot takes here, bro. I'm excited. Nah, dude, I'll still love Oppenheimer.
Nah, I was struggling too, because I was like, damn, am I really about to do this, bro? And then I did it.
You did it.
And then I did it. I was like, oh.
No, for me, I'd still say that I would probably rewatch Oppenheimer sooner than I would rewatch Gran Turismo. But like, I don't want to compare the movies, man. I don't want to compare them. They're two very different movies, and even though they're biopics and all that, and you can say, oh yeah, there's corny story beats. They have their suit up scenes. They have their stuff like that. But man, can we not enjoy that there's like good movies coming out?
For me, I mean, I'm like, in terms of film and stuff like that. What always interests me and what captivates me is when shit like Gran Turismo comes out, or John Wick 4 comes out, or Top Gun Maverick comes out, or Mission Impossible, because like, put the story aside, put like the writing and all that stuff aside, what they capture on camera always like like that's what I look for, because it amazes me.
You're into sort of like the grandeur of stunts and of like sort of like actually capturing like the amazing things on film.
Like Mad Max Fury Road is such an amazing film that does that throughout its entire runtime. You know, like I can't
amazing
even begin
movie.
to like
amazing movie.
I'm fumbling my words just because I'm thinking about that movie,
right?
Like, it's insane, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like I have a different appreciation for those movies, and I feel like there's definitely people who would agree with me, where like, some people might throw that to the side because, it's just an action movie. It's not really that deep.
And I hate when that happens, too, because there can be some really impactful action movies that really get everything right. And on top of being amazing, like, grandiose and just fun to watch, you know?
Like, you got to think about it in this way, because I feel like people throw the writing to the side for these movies, right? You can't take away the fact that it's way harder to make a film with stunts like that, because the preparation that goes into shooting just a basic movie, like a basic drama,
takes
right?
a while. It
and
takes
then
so long.
To add on top of that, training, like physical, like training to perform these stunts.
It's
like,
intense.
there's a
it's
different
hard.
type of respect you have to have for these filmmakers. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's why I always say, man, like, I'm like at all these award shows and stuff, I'm just like really like heartbroken that we don't have awards, for like our stunt people and for just sort of choreography and stuff like that. Because I'm like, man, they put so much effort. into that stuff.
I hate that. I think we talked about that too on our Oscars episode. I still.
It's not right. It's annoying, but I think down the line they'll get there. I think they'll.
Chad Stahelski should have got one a long time ago, and he's the director of the John Wick films.
Yeah, I mean he even made like some other ones that even they're like the action's amazing.
He was Keanu Reeves' stunt double for the Matrix.
Yeah, that's how they met. That's how they.
Man. Like, think about it. Without the Matrix, we might have never had John Wick. Like if you think about stuff like that,
Yeah.
you see that random thought like just blew my mind. You know?
Well, it goes to show how like like these partnerships sometimes throughout film sort of go huge ways that you could never imagine as their lives and careers develop. Like with American Graffiti, that George Lucas made that movie because Francis Ford Coppola was like telling him, hey, listen, man, I know you love making your weird movies. I know you love THX or 113 and all these movies. Trust me, dude, you want to make a movie that'll make you some money so that you have more breathing room, and then you can make the stuff that you want to make. And so George Lucas is like, all right, and it worked for George Lucas too because he loves cars. Like he was a big car guy when he was young. He was almost in like a car accident that like almost like fully like wrecked him, and he was like, okay, I gotta back away from this, but I love cars, I love doing this whole thing. And so he made American Graffiti, which was sort of like, okay, I'm gonna make a more mainstream movie, and after that he can make Star Wars, and after Star Wars blew up, he continued working with Spielberg, and you saw, oh, these two guys, they started working together. Indiana Jones, on and on and on it goes.
And back then that was a common thing because even like look at Mark Hamill. He almost died in a car accident. His face had, like, if you watch,
that's why he was scarred. Yeah,
everybody watches Empire Strikes Back, and you could see like his face is different. So he wrote it into the movie, like when how do you say the Wampa?
I think so. It's like the ice dude.
Don't kill me. I'm sorry. I'm a Star Wars.
We don't know all the Star Wars. We gotta watch Ahsoka.
It's the heat, bro. It's the heat, bro. It's the heat. It's getting to my brain, dog. No, I feel like I'm shutting down, bro. It's so hot in here.
It is.
But there was a lot of movies touching upon that too, with like street racing and stuff like that. Because even if you watch I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Rebel Without a Cause.
I haven't seen that one. No.
James Dean. James Dean. Yeah. There's literally a street racing scene in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's like a car movie, right? Like I've heard that it's a
it's not a car movie. It's actually a kind of like a very angsty fucking movie. Gosh. But it's an angsty like teen drama. You know, but it's amazing. I also love that movie. But yeah, this with American Graffiti, one of my favorite parts was those aspects. Like I love the scene of what's his name? What's the guy's name who was riding around in the yellow car with the front, like his the front of his hood wasn't there?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, no, with him and like the young
John,
and he's with the young girl.
And then Harrison Ford kept pulling up on him.
No, Harrison Ford. That's another great cinema partnership that you never would have expected, because Harrison Ford was like a carpenter that like worked like for George Lucas at like some points, and eventually George Lucas brought him on to American Graffiti, and he was like, hey bro, listen, I know you're a carpenter, I know, but do you want to act in this real quick? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so Harrison Ford, it was an amazing role in American Graffiti.
He's so good. He's so
hilarious. It's so
That's
funny.
such an underrated like cult classic.
Yeah.
That's such an underrated movie, and I feel like it should be bigger. I feel like more people should know about it. I was happy to see that the theater was full. But like, man, like,
and it paved the road for Star Wars. It paved the road for the rest of Lucas's career, and working with Spielberg and getting these great partnerships, you know. And
it's its 50th anniversary.
And that's why I was actually so glad that I didn't watch it, because I got to watch it in the movie theater and experience it.
I watched
in the big
it
screen.
like literally a year ago. I watched it a year ago in September.
I remember you were telling me about it when you
because
watched it.
we were talking about it. I remember looking up like street racing movies, and that was there. So I was like, oh, George Lucas made this, and you were telling me about it. So I was like, I watched it, dude. I forgot about the scene where the kid is trying to get alcohol, and he tells the guy, he's like, "What? Let me guess, you want some alcohol?" And he goes in and he just throws him the bottle, and the guy comes out and starts shooting out the bro. Dude, because I forgot about it. So when I
had a visceral reaction. I was like,
bro,
yo.
I was like, oh yeah, and I started laughing, and I remember I was laughing harder at your reaction. You're like, dude, that's such a great moment in the movie. That was amazing, bro.
But, no, and I do think that it paved the way for like a lot of other like comedies and like teen movies. Like I sort of think of like Superbad, with sort of like some of the dynamics with like McLovin and the two cops.
Yeah.
And the dynamic between the one guy when he was hanging out with like the criminals. Like
the main character.
Yeah, the main character. I forgot his name. But man, those were like great scenes, and it was mad exciting. And I just was thinking back to sort of like this archetype and how it carries over to Superbad with McLovin and the two cops, and how they grow mad close and he has a great time with them.
It's also one of the only hangout movies that like the characters have an arc.
Right. Right.
Like every character in that movie has an arc, even though it's so random. Like everything that happens in that movie is so random.
It's so good. No, dude. No.
Like the scene where he goes into the arcade and he meets the guy because he worked for that place. So the guy is like, "Don't forget to take something with you on the go." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I think I will." Some shit like that.
And they fully robbed it with his help by him because he was in there distracting them.
And then I loved it when they took the bumper off the police car. That was so amazing. That's an amazing movie, man. But yeah, we saw it on. That was the movie we saw on National Cinema Day. But one thing I thought was interesting was it drew in 8.5 million people, and it was up 5% up from last year. But also, that's a weird. I don't understand. Again, I don't understand the math and the percentages here. But it was also $1 more than last year, which is weird to do that. Like, y'all really needed that $1. It was $3. Because then National Cinema Day might as well. It happens once a week on Tuesday, motherfucker. The tickets are $5 on Tuesday, bro. just go see a movie then. I don't know what else to tell you. No, that was weird. I was like, why is it $4?
They always start like squeezing out like more money, especially with like economy stuff, inflation, all that stuff. So they always like find like a.
They definitely had to do the math for that. If they say it's 5%, because then it might as well be the fucking same.
But no, I got my worth from that day because I also got to see Jurassic Park, and you know that they actually have a picture of Oppenheimer in Jurassic Park.
I saw that.
You saw it? No,
I saw it yesterday.
That blew my mind, bro. Because I was watching it in the theater and I saw Oppenheimer again, and I was like,
Xander posted it on his
story.
No,
because I was texting Xander about it after, where I was like, dude, I wrote this on my Letterboxd review that Oppenheimer made a cameo in Jurassic Park, because I was like, dude, that's so crazy. That's such a But yeah, no, it works too, because like Oppenheimer regrets the creation of the atomic bomb and all this stuff, while these guys like regret the creation of the dinosaurs. They resurrected dinosaurs and all like started dying one by one.
Man, and the only thing that disappoints me with the franchise is like Jurassic World could have been like bro, they went away a route with Fallen Kingdom, which I loved, where like the dinosaurs were coming to like the Earth, where it was becoming like a Jurassic World, and then they went this. I actually don't want to get into it. I actually don't want to get into it. They made it about bugs. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to get into that.
Jurassic Park Dominion.
Moving on.
Remember when Poyd mixed it up with like the Minions, Dominion, bro? And
what
he was
a
like,
fucking idiot! You're an idiot, dog. If you're watching this, you're an idiot for that. No. I said Dominion. Do you not know how to spell, bro?
It kind of sounds similar. That's the funny part.
I didn't say it. I texted it. It sounds similar. Motherfucker, read.
Similar. It's funny.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh man, no, but yeah, no, dude, it's. I was really, it was a great day for me, bro. I got the Spielberg Lucas extravaganza, bro. So it was worth, bro. It was worth.
Solid, bro.
Oh no, bro. You need ice, bro? We're gonna go get you some ice.
That would be really fucking nice in this heat, bro. But yeah, one thing I'm looking forward to right now, and that's really been exciting me, which I really want to cover with you, is the trailers that have come out in the last week.
Yeah, it looks like there's gonna be another racing movie, bro. Ferrari.
Yes, more car movies. But I have some bad news about that. Well, it's not necessarily bad news. It's not necessarily also like a racing movie from what I've seen and from what I've heard. But dude,
more biopic type.
Yeah. But the one thing about these, so we're gonna talk about the Saltburn trailer, which is made by the same director who made Promising Young Woman. Michael Mann's Ferrari, and then David Fincher's The Killer, which is like, bro, these directors, powerhouse directors, bro.
They're all coming in on the scene. At the last minute.
Promising Young Woman, like, okay, well, let me hold on for a second. I
haven't seen it.
I'm talking about Michael Mann and David Fincher first. Promising Young Woman was cool. From what I remember, I think the ending, like the third act, was really messy. Good movie though, like decent. Like I think it was her first.
That was her debut.
I think that was her debut. Check that. Fact check that. It was good though, and I thought the performance. I forgot the actress's name too. She was in Great Gatsby. Check the actress too.
Let me see. Yeah, it marks the directorial debut.
Yeah. So for a directorial debut, it was actually pretty good. But yeah, Michael Mann and David Fincher, bro. We're getting a
They're
Michael
coming
Mann
out.
and David Fincher movie. This
And
year.
we're getting Scorsese film. Yeah.
It's gonna get delayed.
Hey, at least
I'm
we got
so
our Nolan
upset,
film.
bro.
At least we got our Nolan film. Bro.
Nolan will fucking release that shit on his own terms, bro. He'll release that shit whenever he wants. You saw even like during COVID, he brought back theaters with Tenet. Like,
Dude,
dude,
it was awesome.
forced people back into the theaters. He
No,
was like,
I went to I believe I went to Connecticut to watch it, bro, because it was closed down in New York, and so we took a train ride to go see Tenet.
I
bro.
saw it in Jersey a week later.
Hmm.
Yeah. I wish I saw it in Lincoln, bro, for the 7mm
dude,
print.
yeah.
Oh my god, I was
Could've
so
been
because
worse.
I forgot like yo that shit's gonna fill up the screen and I didn't go.
Hmm.
Instead, I think my first theater experience back into New York theaters was Boogie.
I forgot about that movie, bro. Boogie.
Yo, ask your girl how my dick tastes.
Shout out Boogie, bro.
Oh my god, bro! Like, all I gotta say about that movie is there is literally a scene where Boogie, the main character, stares
Yeah, the like full staring, like no like.
at a woman's crotch while she's exercising.
That shit went on for like 3 minutes. That shit it felt like it was going on
Bro,
for a while, bro.
but like, bro, he was locked in. He
Yeah,
was
no.
locked in. Even his
Crazy.
mans was telling him like, "Yo, what are
Yo,
you doing,
chill,
bro?
chill, bro, chill. Yeah,
Why was this in the movie?" Anyways,
yeah, no, that was crazy,
way off
bro.
topic. What a fucking rest in peace, Pop Smoke, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, starting off, Saltburn. What do you think?
I mean, bro, the trailer looked dope. Like the music, bro. Like the build up in that trailer, it looked pretty cool.
I love the trailer. Bro.
You love the trailer?
I love the
I thought
trailer.
it like I'm interested in checking out the movie.
What's his name? Shout out to Archie Madekwe. If I butchered your name, I'm sorry. Main character from Gran Turismo is in the movie.
He was the guy that was
Shout
on
out
the,
to him. My son's moving up in the world. It looks great. It looks great. I love the shots. I also watch anything that Barry Keoghan is in. Jacob Elordi's in it.
Jacob Lord. Yeah. And Rosamund Pike also is in that one, right? She's got from Gone Girl, and she's amazing in that movie.
I
Yeah.
have to see that.
You still haven't seen Gone Girl? Oh man, I mean it's pretty wild. That's a wild.
I've
movie.
seen a lot of David
That's-
Fincher films.
That's
but-
that's an uncomfortable.
okay. It's
movie.
not, but it's not like saying like, "Yo, I didn't watch Fight Club."
Right. But, I mean,
Because then I have no right to call. We can't call this podcast Film Bros University if I haven't seen Fight Club, bro. That's the like. Oh man, that's the
But
number one film bro movie.
It's one of those things, man, where there's always like some big movie that you haven't watched. You know, like it's inevitable with like every human being, bro. And every time like someone always hears like they mention the wrong movie, and it's always something that you haven't seen, and it's always frustrating. He's like, oh
I
man,
remember
I've seen
I
everything
was
else.
talking to one of my coworkers last week, and I hadn't seen. I've only seen Eyes Wide Shut in terms of Kubrick. So no, I'm lying.
No,
I
you
saw
saw
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
I'm
Yeah,
lying.
I gave you that.
I saw that. Amazing. It was beautiful. The 4K restoration of that movie is beautiful. But yeah, he was like, dude, how are you into film and you haven't seen so many movies? I was like, dude, when you're a film lover, you're surprised by how much I've seen and how much I haven't. That's all I gotta say, because there's a lot of people who've seen more of a specific type of movie and even some that haven't, and it's so random because you can't watch everything.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
there's you can live like your whole life just watching movies every single hour, and you still won't like get into like the drop of the amount of movies there are out there. Like good movies, bad movies, mid movies. There's too many.
I've
you know?
still seen like a shit ton. I've seen all of, obviously, like Tarantino's movies. I've seen all of them. I've seen all of Nolan's movies, even his short films. I've seen like 95% of Denis Villeneuve's movies. The only one I haven't seen is Polytechnique,
right.
and his shorts I have to watch. I've seen a lot of David Lynch. More than I expected I was going to watch last year. I watched a lot of David Lynch movies
I
last year.
forced you into a couple of them because I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
it's too good. Bro. I love
Eraserhead
it.
was a one-of-a-kind experience while I was sick.
Yeah.
I was in that theater suffering because IFC, that you got to fix that theater with that small one.
Right.
which is
I know which
basically
one
the
you're
screen is
talking
like the size of my
Because
TV.
there's the theater one, which is like a regular
So
theater.
loud.
Yeah.
And I had like a sore throat. I was nauseous in the theater, and I'm literally, it's like a 4D experience.
Yes. You had the
So
flow.
I was just like watching that shit, like, bro,
amazing movie though. That movie is incredible. But yeah, no, I mean, dude, there's always gonna be some movies that you haven't watched, but it's one of those great things where because just how lucky we are to be living in New York and to have access to all these theaters, we get to watch a lot of them, and that's always the cool thing.
But anyways, we went off topic.
Yeah.
We were talking about Saltburn. How did we get so?
We went like we were going from like
Jesus Christ, we got so far from what we were talking about. But anyways, Saltburn, yeah, love Barry Keoghan. Can't wait to see him as the Joker. I don't know what because they didn't refer.
He had that deleted.
He's
scene.
the Joker. I'm guessing
that...
of the scene, but like we have yet to see what his character is actually going to play out to be. Because I have a feeling Matt Reeves wants to kind of stray away a little bit and maybe have him be like a side. You can't do that though. Like that's what's frustrating. He's like he gotta have like a bigger plan with him. You have to have the Joker is the Batman's like main villain. You know what I mean?
He's definitely the most iconic villain, but
he has to come in like the third movie at least, like as the villain.
It's sort of like a fun thing when you still can shine a light on the more obscure rogue. Because
of course. No, I appreciate that. I'm not saying don't like because I know he wants to do Clayface, bro. Yeah. Let's make a fucking Clayface.
No, because that was one of the cool things, at least about like the Tom Holland like Spider-Man trilogy, was that like they're shining the light on like Vulture and Mysterio, who are like big like because the great thing about Spider-Man and Batman is that they have an incredible rogues gallery, and they always have all these great villains that you can choose from for like a movie or for a TV show or something like that. And so, yeah, Batman, man, he has so many great villains, man. And Joker usually hogs all the limelight. But it's good to have
he's the guy that like assembles or like maybe in a way like he like at the end of the first Batman, he's like teaming up with him. Or something,
right.
Teaming up with Riddler
in the deleted
scene. We could be friends.
No, in the actual scene.
In the actual,
right.
It's the end.
Because I remember the deleted
the end credits.
scene.
No, I think it's a scene in the movie. There's no end credits for the Batman.
It was when they were laughing in Arkham.
He looks great. He's treading along a line of like a similar. Actually, no. I'm gonna take that back. Not really. His voice has some reminiscence of Ledger's, but like it's not Ledger.
No.
I hated that people were like, "Yo, he's just copying Ledger." No, he's not. He's doing his own thing. He's definitely, if anything, he's sounding more like Hamill, like Mark Hamill's Joker a little bit more than any other character. Like a younger version, because he has a little tweak in his voice. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, the makeup looks great on him, but
no, because they're going with that grisly, like sort of like chemical accident version of him.
Yeah, he's Barry Keoghan's gonna kill it. He's been great. Killing of a Sacred Deer, which
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, you gotta watch, especially before Poor Things comes out. Jacob Elordi, love him. I feel like he definitely wants to be in more films like this. Like I see the potential, and I want the want for more serious roles, but like I can't tell if he wants them because he's interested in these characters, or he's in the weight that these characters hold, like the respect that he'll get for the characters. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing with him because he kind of from what I've seen from like social media and stuff like that, he comes off a bit like I have yet to see him in like a movie like this, but in a way a little pretentious.
Got you.
A little. He comes.
I mean, it can always be like a bit of both, where it's sort of like he wants this.
He acts a little too artsy fartsy for me. You know, he's great. I fell in love with him when I watched the first season of Euphoria. Season 2's trash. We know. But the first season of Euphoria, I thought as Nate Jacobs, I was like, dude, this guy should have got nominated for an Emmy. I was like watching this, I was like, this before, like when he's screaming in the room with his father, arguing with his father. It's an amazing scene. It's riveting. It's amazing. But like, I just can't tell if it's out of personal interest or personal gain with like these. Like I can tell.
It can always be both, you know. Like it can always be like, yeah, he wants to, improve the career. And
you know what it feels like? It feels like when like Dave Bautista or like I forgot who else, what other actor it was, but they come out and say like, I want more serious roles. Like I don't want to be a silly, goofy like Drax. But I was like, dude, you gotta also respect that Drax kind of made your acting career a little bit, like have the stardom that you had, because he's great in Blade Runner, which is also like a highly regarded film. And just I don't know, like I get that vibe for him where I'm like, dude, I hope you're appreciating these opportunities.
It's one of those
know?
things where like you know, you can only get like a fragment of people through social media and all that stuff, right? And so it's always difficult to like psychoanalyze all of them and what's going on. Maybe they're appreciative behind, like, dude, like for example, we would have never gotten Heath Ledger's Joker if he wasn't starring in all those, you know, like romance films and stuff like that. And you know, we gotta, like, of course he definitely probably appreciates those roles because that's all
but
building
it was
up.
also the sort of thing where like Heath Ledger definitely he appreciated, like, because I've watched the documentary, I've done a lot of research on Heath Ledger. He definitely like appreciated those opportunities, and I know Jacob Elordi probably did. But then like there was rumors coming out about his experience on like Kissing Booth 2 and 3, and like in the movie you could tell like
that he wasn't passionate, right.
Like I feel like as bad as it may have been, and it's also because he was working with his ex, which doesn't make it any like easier.
I mean that's a whole different like ballpark, and like you can understand the frustration there, you know, like that's uncomfortable.
But I mean, it's also like you're also part of one of the big, because if people are already watching, like the first one was dog shit. If they made 3 of them, people are still watching them. You gotta kind of keep doing your, like I don't fully understand it because I haven't been in that situation.
It's probably uncomfortable.
Like,
I've heard stories like and like with some of like the actors in Game of Thrones where they were exes and they actually had it written in their contracts. Yo, I had a really bad breakup. I do not want to be in any scenes with this other actor, bro. No scenes with them. And if you need to have a scene, you'll figure it out. You'll film in a way where my stunt double is like there, but I'm not there because I cannot be in the same room with this person. I will probably kick their ass.
And don't get it twisted. Like I love him as an actor. I think what was the other? I forgot there was another film that he was in that I watched. Let me check. I think the guy has talent.
He's coming up in Priscilla, right?
In that Elvis movie. He's in these big
Elvis's.
He's getting way better roles, you know. We'll see how it is though, because this is like the first time I'm seeing him in like other stuff, like more seriously taken films and stuff like that. But I want to see him rock and roll, man. I just hope it's for the right reasons. Yeah, because I love him, dude. He was, bro, Euphoria, like I said, like I loved him in Euphoria. This like we said, like there's a disclaimer in front of this always. We're just chatting. But like, still, I have much respect for him. It's just like, I get a vibe sometimes. You know?
Yeah, no, and there can definitely be vibes, but I will say it's always difficult through social media. We can't always get enough of what's going on behind people's heads.
Of course, bro.
You know, because it's mainly just like a snapshot in a moment. Maybe the way that their PR team presents them is terrible, or the way they present themselves when they're on a phone is awful. Yeah. So anything can happen. But regardless, I wish him luck, and it looks like a good role for him. Like he has like that sort of like fun, like friend energy. I still have yet to
see like the character, because it does just feel like, if you watch Jacob Elordi interviews, it does kind of just feel like Jacob Elordi. There's no like, I don't notice a voice change, or like we have yet to see like the performance, you know?
Right.
But yeah, like Barry Keoghan, since he's more like obviously seasoned and we've seen him in more stuff, I can tell there's like a little,
like a change in him.
There's a little like twitch in him.
I've seen him in besides, you know, obviously the Batman. I've seen him in the Banshees of Inisherin, where he played Dominic, where he played the dude with your name, and he was great in that role. You know, like he was definitely, I think, one of the more likable characters in that movie, because
bro was relatable though.
Yeah.
Well, there goes that dream, innit?
Yeah, with the accents. But yeah, no, he was great in that movie. You know. If was he nominated for like a supporting Oscar for that one, or I don't even remember, but I think if I recall, he might have been nominated for something. Let me see. I don't even know for sure, but yeah, he's a goat. He's a good actor.
Yeah. What was that thing? Who produced Saltburn? I wonder if it's gonna come out when it's supposed to come out.
Yeah, you never know. It can get pushed back because like
depending on who made it. Lucky Chap Entertainment. So Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Yeah, he was nominated. So cool, good for him. But yeah, it might be pushed back. We don't know the full situation with.
Oh yeah, Saltburn might get pushed back, bro, because it's Metro Golden Mayer is distributed by Warner Brothers. But Lucky Chap Entertainment is also the same people who produced Promising Young Woman. That's Margot Robbie's production company.
I think she also is producing this one in some ways, if I recall. I remember.
She's producing Saltburn. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean,
because they can sometimes make
there's
side
three production
deals.
companies on this shit.
They can make side deals with SAG-AFTRA and with the WGA, and so sometimes some of these movies, even with like the major studios backing them, they can get through some side deals. You know? Like that's happening right now with like AMC and some of their Walking Dead shows.
From the trailer alone, from the Saltburn trailer alone, what do you think it's about?
I have no clue. It looks like he's visiting like this like a rich friend of his, and he's and the place is like has like a nice cool like exterior, but there's something more sinister inside,
especially in the way it's edited.
In the way that it's edited, it gives me that vibe where it's like one of those places where like, oh, he's sort of on vacation, he's having a great time. I think he has a line in the trailer where he's like, oh, this is some of the best moments of my life, but there's a definite like sinister feeling underneath because there's like he's punching the mirror, he's doing stuff.
There's also the line that Archie Madekwe's character gives him in the beginning. It's literally the opening of the trailer where he's like, oh, it's a rental. Yeah. Like you rented this suit, so it definitely feels like this kid is not from this world. Like he's not from that world wherever he's being taken. And a lot of people were talking about how like it gives the which I haven't seen the film, but I know what it's about. The Talented Mr. Ripley with Matt Damon.
Oh,
and Jude
right.
Law.
Yeah, no, I saw.
And Gwyneth Paltrow's also in that movie.
I saw the like the one with Alain Delon, which was with that. Like that was a book, and they made a movie. Also, I think it was called like Purple Moon or something, which was a great movie. And I think I saw Talented Mr. Ripley, but I didn't remember it as well as I did Purple Moon, because that movie was crazy. Because it is like that, like sort of like like they have like these nice exteriors, but they're really like conniving and scheming, and they're doing dirty shit on the side.
Well, because I think the plot of that movie was Matt Damon was the like the sinister one. So maybe it could, because he's punching the mirror and stuff like that. So maybe I'm thinking, if it's going that route, then maybe this person starts to romanticize the lifestyle and become addicted to it in a way. So we'll have to see where it goes, but I'm thinking it's gonna be leaning in that direction, you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that looks amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll see it when it eventually comes out.
But yeah, so what'd you think of the Ferrari trailer?
The Ferrari trailer? I mean, that one...
produced by Neon. Which is agreed to the WGA terms.
Good stuff.
Recently, too.
Are they good with SAG-AFTRA?
Actually, let me check.
I don't know for sure. But I mean, the Ferrari trailer, I will say about it, it looks... It looks like a biopic. It looks like, Adam Driver. I saw him recently in House of Gucci, which was also like a biopic.
Recently.
Yeah.
2 fucking years
2 years ago. So I still have that performance in the back of my mind when I'm seeing him act as the guy from Ferrari. But like they did have that like
another Italian.
Yeah, another Italian. And he's having marriage problems again with his wife. Like first he was yelling at Lady Gaga, and now he's yelling at Penelope Cruz. But yeah, man, we'll see it. I'm looking forward to it just because I wanna see more of Michael Mann's stuff.
I mean, I think that was disgusting what I just said. But I think the last movie he made was Black Hat with Chris Hemsworth. He also directed some episodes of Tokyo Vice, which were the best episodes, but that show's a mess. I stopped at like episode 6. It had so much potential to be more, and I think it's greenlit for a season 2. But he was involved in that.
What was Michael Mann's like last movie?
That's what I'm saying. Black Hat, and it was like 2015, and it was bad.
That's tough because I mean he made Heat, man. He made some great movies.
Yeah, this looks like a return to form for him. You know.
No, he's made some amazing movies.
What I love about the trailer is how like, what is the first thing you think of when you hear Ferrari?
Think of status, bro. I think of the great cars, bro.
You think of the car.
I think of the car. But no, there's also not just the car, because there's a certain status that comes with it. Like whenever you hear like someone has a Ferrari, that's like, oh, that's money. That's like all this stuff. That's like the highbrow, top of the top type car,
Yeah.
Brand.
Yeah. But that's what I love about the trailer is that it starts off. Right. You hear the car engine, and then it shows you Adam Driver. Then it shows you the man behind Ferrari. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then what I love about the trailer is that throughout the that brief ass 90 minutes that not 90 minutes, 90 seconds that we get.
Yeah, I was about 90 minutes.
I was like 90 minutes.
That'd be a long trailer.
But it's constantly playing that like the racing sounds of the car, and it's just flashing the drama aspects of it, where it's like
in the
this is what
background,
this is what you're thinking about, but this is the focus. This is what we're focusing on, you know?
Right. No, and I did like that it went when it finally went quiet, when the trailer like chilled. It had that moment where it was like, you know, if you race my car, you race to win, or whatever he said. Which was that was a good line to end it on. You know?
And Shailene Woodley is in the movie, which I haven't. I think she took a break from acting. I'm actually not fully sure. I just haven't seen her in a film for so long. I think the last thing she was big in like the mid 2010s, bro, with like Fault in Our Stars, the Divergent series, all these teen movies. So like, it's nice to see her back in a movie, man.
Well, I mean, like these actors, like a lot of them are coming back from like breaks. Like Michael Fassbender for The Killer, he's coming back from like this interval. Like he wasn't acting for like a minute, and now he's coming back in for working with David Fincher. And you know,
yeah, bro.
cool
After
stuff.
Dark Phoenix, bro. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. And he's like, do with the.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not as big into X-Men as like some people, but like, it was watchable. It's a bad movie, but it was watchable. Yeah, just because it's kind of humorful.
No. Here's the thing though. If like when you know like the comic book storyline, you're like, oh guys, the wasted potential. It's like the same thing.
Because I don't know about that stuff. But I'm watching that movie. I'm like, yo,
when you watch,
because there's actually like in that movie, there's some cool shit in the movie, but like it's a mess.
It is very messy. Having the what you would call it,
Hans Zimmer score though.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer carries as always, you know. But yeah, it's a rough movie, man. It's a rough.
But yeah, movie. But apparently, what I wanted to talk to you also about, like, apparently Ferrari's not just another regular biopic. Like, it's not just gonna be about the man's life. I feel like because in the racing scenes, it seemed like a younger version of Adam Driver. But I looked into the synopsis of it. It's actually about a specific time in Ferrari's life, the summer of '57, and he was dealing with like the death of his son.
Oh,
and they were, I believe, they were at the same time he had to produce a car for like this race. I forgot what it was, the specifics of it. So I think it's gonna like focus on that specific time in his life, and then cause in a biopic narrative in that fashion, like, it's gonna show pieces of his past and stuff like that, connected to how we got here.
No, because that's always one of the biggest struggles with like a lot of biopics, is that how do you fit like a person's life in a 2-hour movie? You know, like there's usually like people are so complicated. They're so like, you know, there's so much that happens like around them and what they do, that it's hard to always summarize it in a 2-hour and 30-minute or however long thing. And so that's why a lot of biopics, I've noticed this happening more often, they focus on a specific segment of time in a person's life. Like I think they had that Princess Diana movie recently. Spencer.
Amazing. Spencer's amazing. Steve
Jobs, yeah. So they focus on more like specific moments, or like maybe some spread out moments, but it comes together as a narrative.
Yeah, that movie was, I think, about like the 4 biggest drops of his career. Like I think all the way up until he released the iPod.
Right. Yeah. Danny Boyle directed it, and
Danny Boyle is. I need him to make another movie, man. I don't know. When was the last time he made a movie? I think they were talking about a 28 years later
sequel.
The third one, yeah. But they were. I think Killian was even saying, like, you gotta wait 28 years. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta wait now. Like, you can't just make the movie.
That's jokes.
You know. I mean, that was also they did something similar with like how like Pennywise comes back every 27 years, and they made the reboot 27 years after the original.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it sometimes they do wait a while, and it sort of factors into the hype, because it's like, oh, we didn't have to wait like all these years, or some people, they did wait all these years, and so it just factors into, I want to see this, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard though, because like sometimes there's just so many factors that goes into like making a movie. Like I know that they've been trying to make this movie, like Ferrari, for like almost like, they've been thinking about making it for like maybe a little more than 10 years, because I heard that at one point Christian Bale was attached to play Ferrari, and then he was like, no, I can't like get back into shape in time to play this role, and so there was like stuff like that.
Because I mean, he was doing Love and Thunder, and then he had to get like really skinny for that.
Right.
Waste of fucking time.
Yeah, man.
What a waste of time that was, man. Holy shit. Yeah, I have hope in this movie. I think it's gonna be good. I think Michael Mann is getting back to like his roots and like his like I can see the craft there. I can see the vision there. Hopefully Adam Driver delivers another great performance with this.
I think he'll probably do a good job because I just know that they were thinking about getting like big named actors at first, like they were gonna go with Bale. They were gonna go with Bale, and then they were thinking about going with Hugh Jackman, and eventually they're like, okay,
bro was Kylo Ren. I think he can.
Yeah, he can sell some tickets.
The man who wrote this was the guy who wrote the original Italian Job, the old one. I forgot what. I think it was like from the '60s.
I don't think I've seen it, but he wrote the OG.
There was like a reboot with Jason Statham. No, it was Jason Statham. Was it Jason Statham? Was it Mark Wahlberg? Who was in the reboot of that?
I have no clue.
Let me see. 1969 was the original one, and then Mark Wahlberg and Jason Statham were in the movie, and Edward Norton.
Oh shit!
What the fuck? Apparently, it was good. Also, 72%. But who cares with Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes can be off. Yeah, you gotta be careful with their review system.
But yeah, so I'm excited for it, man. The Killer.
Oh yeah,
David Fincher, man.
That looks exciting because it's like because he sort of like went away from his usual style when he went to make Mank, which was sort of like, you know, finishing up his father's work because his father was like writing the script for Mank, and it was a huge passion project for both of them, you know, and so they really wanted to make this movie to explore like the writer of Citizen Kane's life and how he came to make those decisions. And that movie definitely works much more if you've seen Citizen Kane, because I actually know some people that just watched Mank without watching Citizen Kane, and they're like, dude, what am I watching, you know?
And I think maybe he also wanted to make it the way he thinks his father would have made it.
Right. And so because of that, it was much less of a classic David Fincher movie, you know? And so this one, like, at least from like the style of like the trailer and stuff like that, like it looks like sort of like, yeah, this is his aesthetic. This is something that he's
also very into these characters with like really intense moral dilemmas and like these mental challenges that like these people have to face, you know what I mean? Like he's definitely into this like kind of, because there's something very sinister, there's like a very sinister feeling in the movie, and he's always about that shit. Like if you've seen Seven, bro, like come on, like dog,
not just Seven, like Gone Girl and, you know, all these Fight Club, like there's always like something underneath like these characters. And
but this to me is the most interesting trailer because it's pulled straight out of the 80s and the 90s, like the way those trailers were edited. Like there's just this repetition of a phrase and it's just cutting in between action shots, and you don't know nothing about the movie really. You just know that you can have an idea of it. I mean, I've read the synopsis. It's based on a comic book. It's an adaptation, but like the trailers are very fitting.
Yeah. No, you know? Dude, because it's a rare thing. Like, I always believe that the best trailers are very much like they can tell you the vibe of the movie without having to show you any like too much plot or too much like character stuff. You know, like they just like sell you on the like the most iconic trailer of all time is the trailer for like the first Alien movie. You know, and that one
that's what I thought of too.
You know, because like in that one you have those quick cuts. You have like that build up, that like that sense of impending doom where you're like, you know, you're just watching that like, oh no. And in this one you get like uncomfortable watching like this killer's routine and what he's doing. And dude, he made me want to get one of those watches, bro. Like, you know that watch that he was using throughout the trailer that was like beeping? Yeah. I was like, oh man, now I need me one of those watches.
Some Hitman shit.
Yeah.
But
it's convenient.
I know. I think with the movies, but he's as the killer is like an assassin. He's probably working for some people, blah blah blah. But what they were saying was that this is a job that he's on that he's convincing himself isn't personal. So the repetition of like have a lack of empathy, just focus on the job, like it almost makes you feel like is he like delusional? Is he doing something? Is he the villain of his own story right now that he's trying to convince himself that he's the hero, or is this a job that like maybe they send him on a mission of like somebody from his past or something? I mean, I haven't read the comics, so I want to kind of stay away from like the story and stuff like that. But the way I'm thinking about it is like, is this someone who was maybe placed in a job and realized like this has a personal attachment to like the person he has to kill? you know, or like and maybe it's that, and he's going too far, like he's making the wrong choices. He's getting, and I think that's what it is like he's trying to have this lack of empathy, focus on the mission, focus on the plan, focus on this, that, because maybe his emotions are what's making him fuck up. Like that would make sense.
I could see that being the fun thing is that this is a type of character that you can play around with in terms of where you want to take like their arcs, or like with a lot of like killer characters. I've noticed like you usually have like a through line of either they go deeper or they try to climb their way out of it, you know. And so I'm interested in which way Fincher takes the movie.
It's written by the same guy who wrote Seven.
What's in the box?
Imagine, bro, that would have been. Imagine that's what like played in like the Seven trailer. What's in the box?
Like they just build it up.
What's in the box? And he's like trying to guess like what it is.
I can see it. I can see that being the trailer if they had like the.
It's just Morgan Freeman's like, don't look at it.
Don't look at it.
Don't look at it. What's in the box? What's in the box? Terrifying, bro. Because it's funny because it's fucked up because it's such a funny meme.
The meme made
but then when you watch the movie, you're like,
it's because you realize
because then you find out what's in the box.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. You realize it with them, and you're like, oh shit.
It's like if you've seen Arrested Development, it's like that scene in when Jason Bateman like opens the fridge and there's a paper bag with a Post-it note on it and it says "dead pigeon inside, do not open." And he grabs it, he goes, "Oh!" And he goes, "I don't know what I was expecting." And then he puts it. That's like what it reminds me of, bro. It's like when you watch Seven, it's like the same experience where it's like,
but you still decide to look.
Oh my god, bro. Yeah, that's also a great fucking show. But yeah, this definitely feels like a psych thriller. I'm very intrigued. I'm happy he's getting a theatrical release because I know it's a partnership with Netflix, which is also, are we still doing that? Because
Netflix, they've been going about the whole strike
situation. Yo, don't go see this fucking movie if they don't pay the writers.
There we go. No. But no, Netflix has been going about it in a very sneaky way where, they're still like against the strike and stuff like that. But the way that they still provide content for people on Netflix is they've been getting content from other countries. So they're like investing in way more like Korean films and Korean TV shows and stuff like that in different countries' film industries, so that they don't have to so that they can outweight the writers and the actors, basically.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this because they have the money to wait it out. And so
you know what it feels like? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of like when Drake and Kanye were trying to like drop an album. But they were seeing like who was gonna be the pussy to do it first.
Right.
and then and then it was the studio that ended up dropping Donda. And Kanye was like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" I feel like some shit like that's gonna happen, bro. Like something similar where someone's gonna drop the ball and it's gonna be bad, bro. I hope it's not WG or SAG-AFTRA, but. No, it's definitely gonna be the studios, bro.
We'll see.
It's definitely gonna be the studios, bro.
I don't know. It's hard to predict.
They're gonna drop Donda, bro.
Nah, that reaction was iconic,
bro. Because he literally posted like, "Yo, I did not release this album.
I'm not a bitch.
I'll never forget like the shock on my face when you texted me. Like all I got in all caps was like, "Yo, Donda is out," and I was like. I'm turning on my boombox like expeditiously, bro. But yeah, it feels the same, bro. It's some Drake Kanye beef that's going on right now. It's some joke shit, bro. This is ridiculous, bro. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this, bro. We talk about it enough. Start talking. Pay the writers, and the actors. But yeah, dude, I'm just. These trailers, man, these made my
They've been
week.
Good.
Like
they've been
bro. I was watching this like, yo, are these good fucking trailers? I was like, yo, are these actually good?
It's refreshing because like after like seeing how like Gran Turismo's trailer like sort of like drops the ball on like the marketing and stuff like that, you're like, oh man, finally we get some good trailers. It's exactly
like the same issue with Gran Turismo. It's like I feel like that. I know this track. I've raced it 1,000 times. Yeah, and I bet the audience was like, I know this trailer. I've seen this movie 1,000 times. Like, that's probably what it made them think, bro. Like, what a
100%.
fucking stupid idea. Bro.
That's what I thought. If I'm gonna be honest.
Somebody commented, there's like a comment like that under every like Gran Turismo video. It was like, yo, I've raced this track 1,000 times.
I definitely thought something similar when I first saw the trailer, which made like actually like going to see the movie like better because I had lower expectations. But
I still think the worst line, like it was also, bro. I'm sorry, David Harbour. That was the worst line delivery where he was like, "You threw up on my lawn." Was that supposed to be funny, bro? Was that supposed to be funny?
I mean, I'd be tight, bro. If that was my lawn, bro, I'd
No, I love the quote where he's like, "Do you get extra points for that in the game?" When he's like driving off track and shit. Oh man,
because that feels like a backseat driver, like that feels like something that someone would say if like they're in the back of your car just talking shit.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I already know what's gonna happen in a few months. We're gonna get like a 3-minute trailer for Ferrari. Yeah, as the studios always do.
No, it's rough because they have a mandate in how they believe like trailers get people into the theaters, and they're like, okay, we need to show as much as possible to get people to be interested and to actually.
But that's stupid because that's a disservice. I think like audiences need to like stop being babies and take a chance and go watch a movie because realistically, that's how it was done in the 70s. And the 60s and the 80s and all these different decades, like before the 2000s and stuff like that, like that's how it was done.
Well, back then they had like this like weird thing with trailers where they would have like a narrator always talk over it, and then, it's like
this summer
coming soon
to a theater nowhere near you, Oppenheimer.
Pretty much, bro. So we sort of like we're like a. That was like just around the time when they started innovating more with trailers, and now we've gotten to the point where trailers have sort of returned to being it's common. It's
such a negative thing though to have like to feel like the excuse that audiences need to be persuaded more to see a film. It's such a negative thing. Like I think showing them a vibe or an aesthetic is enough, and letting the audience take a chance on maybe experiencing something new is always a beautiful thing.
Right.
But when you release trailers like that, like the Gran Turismo trailer is abysmal. You remove that magic.
Yep. It's gone after that for sure.
So I don't know, man. They gotta stop. Like, bro, like Saltburn is literally just an aesthetic. Mm-hmm. There's a vibe.
Yeah.
I think out of all the trailers, it's probably my favorite one. The music choice, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, some of the shots look.
The cast is amazing. I'm excited for that. Out of all the trailers, I'm not gonna lie, I'm most excited for Saltburn, for sure.
Got you. I mean, dude, that makes sense. I think I'm really looking forward to The Killer just to see it, but I'm also looking.
Yeah, you're a sick fuck.
I'm a little bit. Yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to it too. It looks good. I'm just can't tell still. Like I'm not sure if it's an action movie or is it an action thriller. Like
I think it's psychological.
It's gonna be like the Batman, bro, where like all the action is shown in the trailer, and then in the movie it's just like just him walking around talking to people for 3 hours. Yeah, bro.
But I mean, that's part of the thing where trailers can also be misleading in some ways, and like how do we get people to come watch our movie? We gotta put all the money shots, all the good stuff in the.
How do you get people to watch your movie? Make a good movie.
That is the classic route.
Make a good movie, bro.
Word of mouth. I'm telling you, underrated. It's underrated.
Well, nowadays, especially when, like, how can I lost my train of thought. I'm not gonna lie.
No, but like with like for example, Barbenheimer, like that was sort of like a. Like even though the studios were doing it to try to like fuck over Nolan, it became like sort of like this like natural thing where like the word of mouth like buzz, like even after like watching the movie and after the build up, it still made these have huge staying power to the point that now both of them are becoming like $1 billion movies. And so that's always like the most powerful thing. Like make movies that people.
I'm gonna say this right now. I don't think Barbie would have been as big if it wasn't attached to Oppenheimer. End it there. You're gonna end it there. Any last thoughts? Any last thoughts on these trailers?
No. I'm happy with them, bro. I want more trailers like these.
Yes, I want more trailers like this too. Deadass.
We need him.
Please.
For the
We
love
need
of
this
God.
editing, this level of editing and mystery.
Not I've
is-
raced
yes.
this track 100 times, please.
I raced this track 1,000 times. Shit, man.
Oh no, my God.